And then I remembered earlier that some of the things that inspired me came from other people's experiences. How did I encounter it? When I read books. So how did I start reading? I didn't start reading books like literatures, biographies, because I wanted to. This is something that I recommend for every young person. And I will encourage you to get the biography of someone that has done well in what your child might be interested in and read it with them. It is powerful. It inspires your child. Engaging them to learn a skill is good. That is what a lot of people opt for. But sincerely, helping your child read about something, somebody they would like to be like, somebody that opens their mind, it does miracles. So I began to read a lot about saints of old, Christians that believe before, those are the supernatural things. Those that God used, people who were nothing, who were sinners, and inspired me. I just knew that a lot is possible. In fact, I will say that I had more rugged, dogged, and quick way in responding to the things I perceived in my spirit when I was much younger than now. I was innocent and I believed God. Like, let me say this. Did I say it? See, you can inspire your children to walk with God and begin to hear the voice of God, understand the voice of God, and obey it early. Now, where I am right now, Pastor, do you remember one time in NQ then that we wanted to pay for hall? I remember the amount I gave. Do you know that that was my jam money? I wish you could see his expression. Like he didn't know that was my money. That money, my parents gave me to write jam. So somebody will be like, that was stupid, right? For a lot of people, that was stupid. But l- let's rewind it back before I met you and joined the ministry. That period, even I was already working. I had to resign my job. And then how old was I? I think I was 19. I was 19. I was as serious as to resign a job was. I was done with my diploma. I was already working. And then God told me to resign my job. I didn't consult my parents. I resigned. I started serving in the ministry. From where I was to where the services were holding, the transportation was, I think then, that was 2014, 2015. Transportation was between 400 to 500. There was a point, there was inflation, and I was spending close to 1,000 naira a day. And then I was not working. So every pocket money, I would use it to do that. Why? Because God told me. And so what happened that I actually gave that jam money was because God told me that I would get direct entry. Right? So God already gave me his. Well, when they gave me the money, I didn't refuse. I didn't even tell my parents that I didn't register for jam. So when the time passed, this is the first time I'm sharing the story publicly. Like even pastor that is seated here, if he sees the expression, it's just even if a younger person comes to you, sir, and say, I want to do this, will you advise? He shakes his head in disagreement. He won't do that. Nobody will want to do that. But do you know that this exercise where I begin to get inspired, how did the inspirations come? By reading Christian biographies in my early teens. I was reading about Catherine Kuhlman. I was reading The Successes and Failures, that's God's Generals. I read it in my early teens. Some books by Dr. Martin Moreau, I already read it. So life was purposeful for me already. Hearing the voice of God was something I was already prioritizing. While I was in JS3, I don't know how I heard about the will of God and how to seek the will of God. But when it comes to inspiring children, right, create an environment that emphasizes a particular value that you want them to imbibe. How do I mean? I don't know where I got it from. I cannot tell that this is the person who taught it, but I know I spend a lot of time in church. In fact, that was one of the things my mom said I liked doing when I was younger. I like going to church. So I sat down when I was in just 3 in the toilet. I like staying in the toilet to study. So I prayed. I said, Lord, I would like to be a medical doctor. I want to study medicine, but I want your will for my life. I didn't remember I prayed that, but I was sincere. I remember that prayer I prayed in just 3 while I was doing my diploma. Do you know that God began to order my step into the things that He wanted me to do? So I was inspired to pray the right prayers because of my environment.